Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Sneha. So, Supra and Santosh know me beforehand. Hello, sir. So, today we have the first session of Experiential Conversation series. This idea was inspired from Susie Tucker. She's a pioneer in the field of family constellations, and she regularly does Experiential Conversation series, which is an eye opener for everyone. So, I usually attend her seminars and webinars because it gives me a lot of insight. And I really wanted to do something on those lines. But as usual, the inner critique, you're not good enough. I mean, how can you compare yourself with Susie Tucker? You are going to copy her work. How is that going to work? And therefore, I kept on dilly-dallying it, postponing it for a long, long time. But this idea was seated in my mind. And then one day, when I was with my teacher, who has taught me all this work, I was attending an event and I was with him for a long, long time. He helped me understand that this is where my superpower lies. Because generational work is something which I know like the back of my hand. It comes naturally to me, maybe because of my past lives, maybe because of how much my ancestors have suffered. And I guess they were looking up for someone in the family to show up and see them for who they are. So before becoming a therapist, I was working as a finance professor. I'll give you a little snapshot of my childhood, how it was. So I am the first living child and the third child of my parents in my lineage. My mother had gone through two miscarriages before me. Both the pregnancies ended at fifth month and seventh month. So she had suffered considerably. Going back to, 38, 40 years back, in fact, 42 years back, a woman not marrying at the right time, defined by the society's age, or not bearing children, was considered very, I would say, a barren woman and the very different kind of taunts which will come with it. Belonging to a typical Marwari family and an orthodox one, where women were subjected to kitchen. A woman's life was defined by only two things: how well she works in the kitchen and how she raises her kids, nothing more. And a man's life was defined by how well he provides for the family. So my mother is a handicapped. She was handicapped at birth itself. And she was a dark complexioned woman. And in Marwari families, the complexion plays a very big role in the kind of grooms you're going to attract for yourself. So she was dark skinned as well as she was handicapped. Plus, her parents' financial status, that is my Nana Ji, Nani Ji's financial status, was not that high. So she always had this complexity, inferiority complex for herself. And then she was married to my father. Although my father was very handsome at that point of time, very fair, very good looking. People used to call him, he used to look like Shashi Kumar. So, but then he was uneducated. And when two people, this I'm giving you a systemic lens, system means family, this comes from the family constellation and epigenetics work. So this insight is from that place that when two people who feel insufficient in their own bodies, in their own minds, when they come together and form a relationship, the children coming from that kind of relationship will also go through all those insufficiencies. Those insufficiencies are multiplied in the children. So When my parents got married, they had to struggle as well because my father come from a very poor financial background. So my mom had her own insecurities, my father had her own difficulties, and they got married. In the initial years, they had to stay separate because my father used to work in Nagaland and Assam, and my mother was in Rajasthan with my dada and dadi and the extended family. Then, after 2 years or 3 years, probably they stayed together and they went to a different place where my cousin Nana and my mama was working in Raipur, Chhattisgarh. Now it is Chhattisgarh, then it was Madhya Pradesh. So he started working under my cousin Nana. So a man working under his in-laws, again, something which will dim his self-esteem, but he hadn't. And then two miscarriages. Both were shattered in their own ways. I'm just giving you a perspective. I'm not here to grab any kind of sympathy or empathy because I'm very proud of the kind of lineage I am in. I have really worked on myself. So I know I have got those strengths with me. So I'm just sharing that how life changes and how your inner belief shapes you as a person and how you go ahead in your life. And after two miscarriages, so my mother is AB negative, the rarest of kind.
Sorry?
AB negative blood group. So, and my father is A positive. So again, there were difficulties. And then when she conceived for the third time, when it was me, the doctor suggested to get some injections. At that time, she had to take two injections. Each injection would cost 15K. Now, my father's earning was not even 7K a month at that point of time. I'm talking about 40 years back, 38, 40 years back. 38 years, 39 years back, right? So I'm 38. So I will say 39 years back. I will not increase my age. So my father's earning was not even 7K at that point of time. And the kind of financial pressure it would put and the need to have the child. And now, when you look back, you can always connect the dot. You don't know at that point of time, given that kind of pressure on a woman who was married late, who was handicapped, who miscarried two children, you don't even know the kind of mindset did she wanted a child for herself or to prove the world that she wasn't a barren, she was a fertile woman. That is a very thin line which you cross often and you don't know. You don't even realize that. So, yes, my father did arrange money. He worked insane hours a day. He would skip meals, one meal a day, and he would frequently visit to Kolkata. And I remember when I was growing up, he would tell me that I used to eat 70 paisa ka plate. उस समय कोलकाता में इतने सारे rice and I mean a good amount of rice and a watery dal was made to available at 70 paisa. So he would stay there and then he would eat only one meal a day so that he could save more and get money for those injections. Why I'm telling you this is that is how my belief was formed, that I have to save money. It didn't come because someone told me, it came from the womb itself. My mother, as a pregnant woman, had so many cravings, but she suppressed her cravings because she could save money. It was all done with good interest. Understand, it wasn't personal. They did what they could in those circumstances. They saved for me so that I could survive. But the flip side of every action we take, no matter how well the intention is, there are always consequences. And the consequence was that she suppressed herself, her desires, and my dad suppressed his desires. And The warm memory of mine is suppression of pure victim mode, wherein I'm very happy if things are going wrong because that gives me pity. And I understand pity as a form of love. This was me 3 years, 4 years until I started my love. And this shows up again, yesterday also. When I was going to send the Zoom link, my laptop crashed. The touch screen stopped working. And I was like, and last 15, 20 days, I would say, was very exhausting because earlier I had my brother's marriage and then I had to shift my residence and then it was my sister's marriage. So she came here and I had to go all the trousseau shopping in Delhi in this extreme heat. And then the laptop crashed. And I was like, that victim identity, that is so ingrained in us, at least in me. Why did this happen with me? Whenever I want to work ahead, whenever I want to go ahead, I'm always pulled back. So this victim identity kicked in. But with this considerable amount of inner work, I was aware that these are not my thoughts. This is how I was conditioned. So I decided to take charge. I thought that I'll use my mobile and then from mobile, each and every copying every email ID. And I'm not very, technologically savvy person. I'm the most technologically challenged person you will ever see. अगर Zoom में next button click करने बोलोगे तो I'll get confused. So, fortunately my sister is good in this work. So I asked मुझे बता Google Forms say how can I copy this email ID? So she said this way. And I said I cannot link the sheets and all. I cannot do that. So she asked me to copy the email ID manually and then send the Zoom link. So that is how it was. The point I'm making is that this victim identity that I do not matter, I have to suppress myself, is so ingrained that it is a part of my womb memory, the time I was conceived. And this gradually showed up in different ways throughout my childhood, my teenage, that I would suppress. I would think that, I could save money. I would never think of earning money. I would always think of saving money. For example, I will not buy that dress. That is 300 rupees expensive than this one. And all those smaller things. When I go to a restaurant, I'll not order any dish. Ice cream menu mein, I will order the orange bar because it is just 5 rupees. So that is how I was. And I used to feel proud, just like my mom did, just like my dad did. I used to feel proud that I'm sacrificing so much. But the truth was, I wasn't honoring myself. I wasn't honoring the struggles they have made to give me this life. I was actually reliving their life by repeating the same kind of struggles, not the same story, but the similar kind of struggles. I made the story mine that I do not have enough resources. I'm not good enough. That is why I have to adjust. This showed up in my relationship. So while doing MBA, I was the finest in the class because, yes, I have to prove myself, overachiever mentality that, So I was awarded scholarships from Aditya Birla Group, from BITS Pilani. Then I got scholarships and gold medal from the governors of the state, from Chhattisgarh governor and all. So I was the top scorer in the university. And because I had this urge, now I can understand that this urge was to prove that, see me, I matter. That is why I was so much into overperforming and an over ambitious girl. And people used to tell me that you are belong to. And my parents used to tell me although my dad invested a lot in my education because he could not study, he wanted me to study from the finest. So I studied from BITS Pilani, then Modi's Lakshmangarh, and I was fortunate enough to live hostel life and meet different kind of people, and it was an eye opener. So everything happened. I was during the MBA time. I didn't go to the top institutes, not because I didn't got the admission. I got the admission in London Business School, but then due to financial difficulties at that time, I had to stay back, and I did MBA from a local institute, but I was the finest in the institute as well as in the university. I got the top placements. But then, typical Marwadi mindset, लड़की की शादी कर दो. So I was married before I could complete my MBA. So during the courtship, I finished my exams basically. And then I was married into a family which was again very conservative and orthodox, the typical Marwari family, a joint family this time, where we used to have this level of palla over our heads, and so all that thing started crashing. That was my marriage, was the moment I started crashing, because till that time I had something to prove. Now here in the marriage, in that house, I didn't have to prove, rather I have to belong. The struggle was now different because I had to fit in so that I can be accepted. Now, because I had to belong, I changed myself completely. I would wake up at 4:35 to take bath and then make tea for the family and then do all the kitchen work. Typical Indian Saas Bahu wala family and typical Adarsh Bahu Neha. Okay? And I kept on doing, and that is how I became an overgiver in my relationship. And I started suppressing myself because, again, that inherent belief was I could not have enough because I simply don't deserve. So even if someone would say, Sneha, now go and take rest, I would feel no, they are angry with me. Maybe they have not liked my anything. I mean, my mind will give me 1,000 different narratives to prove that I am not. Then after some point of time, I started living with my husband. My husband, again, just like my mother lived with her in laws in the initial years of her marriage, I lived with my in laws while my husband was in another city. Then I started taking jobs because I had a very good academic background and a very solid background, and I was a very good student. I got jobs easily. So, again, that mindset, family comes first. So I would, in the initial year itself, I decided that I will not do full-time work. I will only do freelancing and visiting faculties. And at that point of time, visiting faculty job was very difficult. I'm saying 15, 16 years back, it was very difficult. But fortunately, I was always given a visiting faculty job, given my academics. So it helped me sail through. The next crashing happened when I was unable to conceive because of some fertility issues with my husband, and then again the taunts which my mother experienced. So I, even though I didn't go through the miscarriages, I experienced those voices, the same feelings, just like my mother. And during the second pregnancy as well, my health gave up completely. I was on bed rest. And those were the times, all the suppressed feelings of my mom, my dad, and myself, all of it turned into resentment and bitterness. And I started, and now with two kids, both under 3, it was very difficult to go for a job when you don't have any helping hands. And then the perfectionist me wanted to do everything on her own. I would take care of my kids, I would go do this, I would do that. So this built a lot of resentment and anger inside. And I started vomiting my anger on my kids. And that was my time of awakening. I used to blame my husband. My relationship with my husband got very bitter. We were contemplating divorce twice or thrice, and then I tried to commit suicide twice or thrice. But Bhagwan ji ko to kuch aur hi tha, so he none of the suicide attempts was succeeding. I didn't succeed in any of them. And then I decided, and one day those anger bouts of anger was so intense that I actually told my younger one was actually 2, around 2 at that time. I just grabbed him by neck and I just threw him. Fortunately, at that time we used to keep mattresses near our bed, and he landed there. So he was unheard. But that time also, I wasn't believing that I am that angry. I used to blame everyone that my kids are bad or, they are making it difficult. And then one day when I got hurt from that same point, I realized that this is where I need to work upon that. And then my inner journey started. And then I dismantled every belief of mine. But the reason why I told you this entire story was to tell you that whatever you think about yourself, I'm not good enough, things not happen the way I want, people treat me badly, or XYZ, whatever reason it is. Those stories, those experiences may not be truly yours. It could belong to someone else in the system. It could belong to your parents or your grandparents for that matter. It could belong to certain childhood experiences of yours or even home memories where you had experienced such intense feelings and you have made it yours. So today, I would like you all to explore your beliefs. Okay? So we'll do one exercise. Supra and Santosh, if possible, please come on camera. We'll do one exercise. You all have pen and a paper. Okay?
Give me 2 minutes. I have to switch my device.
Okay, Supra. In the meanwhile, you can go ahead with the exercise while the device is working. So I want you to, I'll just show it how it has to be done. So can you see the whiteboard? Guys, please let me know if you can see the whiteboard.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Okay. So I want you to divide the paper and make 3 boxes. So these two will be lying here and the third one will be here. Make the boxes a little big in size because you will be writing something here. Okay.
Right. Create these boxes on our papers.
Yeah. You have to draw these boxes on the paper and make sure the boxes are big in size because you will be writing a lot of things here. Okay. On the first box, write dad. On the next, write mom.
Please, little slow. I'm also doing it.
Okay, Supra. So Supra, you have to draw 3 big boxes on the paper. On the first box, write dad. On the second box, write mom. And on the center of the center box, write me. Okay? And now, guys, understand that I'm not going to check or you don't have to share this with anyone. So I want you to be honest with yourself. Okay? The more honest you are, the more you are going to reflect on who you truly are, what beliefs are you carrying. And then we will do a release exercise. And then I'll open the floor for the questions. Okay? So, Supra, done?
No, what are we supposed to write in these?
On the first box, write dad.
Mm-hmm.
Just write your
Okay.
father's name.
I've
Or
written that.
dad, whatever you call him.
Okay.
On the
Mm-hmm.
second box, write mom.
Yeah.
And on the
Okay.
third box, which is usually lying below these 2 boxes, write me
Right.
or your name, whatever
Yeah,
you
I got. What
Okay.
next?
Now, everyone, just visualize your dad. Close your eyes, visualize your dad. And all the things you have resented him for, you have judged him for, you have rejected in him, or you have hated him for, right from your infancy till date, all the stories, all the narratives which you have in your mind, all the judgments which you have in your mind for your dad, just write it down. All the negative traits, all the negative qualities or characteristics which your dad has, write it down. Don't tell me that my dad doesn't have it or my mom doesn't have it. It's not true. They are humans too. And I just want you to see them for the human you have made out of them. You don't have to share it with anyone. So be honest with yourself, bluntly honest. Just write down and do not think, just keep on writing. Let it flow from you. In my case, it was angry, controlling, demanding, whatever it is, just write it down. No one is going to see it.
Please, can you tell more adjectives?
No, Supra, I cannot color your mind. You have to see your dad for who he is, whatever you have experienced, without thinking. If you will think, then the purpose of the exercise is lost because then you're rationalizing it. I want you to tap into your feelings and write about your dad.
I've written.
Just keep on reflecting, and if something more comes up, just write it down. It need not be true or false. It is just what you feel or what you have felt once upon a time. Once you have done with dad, do the same with your mom. Under that box, write down all the things which you have hated her for, rejected her for, resented her for, all the negative qualities, all the times you felt that she didn't understood you, anything and everything. The more you reflect, the better it is. Seeing your own truth is difficult. But you cannot see your own truth until and unless you see your parents as humans. Not at all possible. Let me know when you all have done it. Okay. What about you, Supra and Santosh? Done?
Just 1 more minute.
Okay. Santosh, what about you?
1 more minute.
Okay. So let's hold the space for the other two people, Chiranjeev. And meanwhile, if you reflect more, you probably will be able to add more adjectives there.
I'm done. And it was
Oh.
very easy for me.
It was very
Easy for me to write it. And I can see those traits in me already.
We have already gone to that next level of the exercise. So under the box me, write down all the things which you judge yourself for, which you hate in yourself, all the things which you dislike about yourself. Or you have heard people telling you that this is your prominent negative trait.
Actually, whatever I've written for them, everything is there in me also. So what is the point of
Just
writing
write
it?
it down, write down under your name and see how much of you are carrying them in you.
100%.
It won't be otherwise because you are 100% of their DNA. Write down each of them.
Done.
Okay, let's wait for others. And Supra, meanwhile, you have done. I want you to reflect the adjectives and everyone who has, if you all have finished, I want you to read that box under your name, all the things which you have written. Just read it twice or thrice. And if all those things could sum up in one line, what is the core belief you have about yourself?
I'm not good enough.
Same was mine. And I want you to write down, I am not good enough, in bold letters. Supra. Whatever it is about you, Santosh and Chiranjeev, whatever it is about you, I want you to read those words and write that core one belief, that one sentence which emerges on your own. You don't have to think about it. Let me know when you all have done. I'll be closing the whiteboard. Done? Okay. Were you able to figure out a sentence, Chiranjeev, just like Supra did? You don't have to disclose the sentence if you don't feel comfortable enough. Right?
Almost, I was able to.
Okay, good. Santosh, what about you? Were you able to figure out the sentence, Santosh?
Yes, ma'am, I'm able to figure out.
Okay, great. So this is the central core belief in all probabilities, because it's not one-on-one work. So I'm not going deeper here and I'm not asking you to reveal it as well because it may not be comfortable for you all. So I want you to just keep repeating this sentence. Just close your eyes now. I'll be helping you with the somatic release. Just close your eyes and repeat this sentence in your head. Whatever core belief, like for Supra, it was, I'm not good enough. I want you to close your eyes and repeat this sentence in your mind and see where it feels. Any kind of vibration in your body. Where do you feel any kind of vibration in your body? Do it, sir. You will really feel good after it. Sit straight. If you're sitting on back or cross-legged, then take a back rest and sit straight. If you're sitting on chair, ensure that there is a space behind your knees and between your knees. Your foot firmly placed on the ground. And close your eyes. Take a deep inhalation and an exhalation and repeat this sentence in your head and locate where is this sentence stored in your body. Just keep on repeating it like a mantra and see where is it stored in your body. Supra, are you able to figure out where is it in your body?
It's in entire body, but most prominent in head here, forehead.
Head and chest?
Yes.
Okay. What about you, Chiranjeev?
I think, yes, there was some tension in the chest.
Chest. Okay. Okay. Santosh, what about you?
I'm feeling in the belly region.
Okay, great.
Stomach.
Fine. So whatever your body part is, now the next steps, you will be releasing it from there. Okay. You just visualize that body part and see what kind of sensations are emerging. Okay. Go back, closing your eyes. And breathe into your core belief, whatever belief you had, the one sentence, and breathe into the area of your body, whether it was belly, chest, throat, forehead, whatever it is. Just feel it in your body. As your awareness goes to that body part and to that sentence, notice the feelings which shows up. It could be anxiety, it could be anger, it could be hurt, it could be sadness, it could be pain. Whatever it is, just breathe into that feeling. Keep your mouth slightly open. Inhale from your nose and exhale from your mouth. Keep on inhaling and exhaling. And as you become aware of the sentence, of the body part and your feeling, I want you to give that feeling a form, a size, a shape, or a color. Give it a form, a size, a shape, or a color. It need not be any logic. It need not be rational. It is your feelings, and feelings lies in your body. So let body take over. And now create a big open window on that body part. If it's belly, create a big open window in your belly. If it's chest, create a big open window in your chest, your forehead, or your throat, wherever it is. And inhale. And as you inhale, become aware of that feeling in that body part and breathe it out. And as you exhale, see it moving out of your body. See that form, the color, the size, the shape, whatever it is, moving out of your body. Just breathe it out. Keep your mouth slightly open while exhaling. Inhale and exhale. And as you exhale, it moves out of your body. Breathe it out. Keep on breathing it out. Breathe it out. See it leaving your body. And as it leaves your body, visualize your mom and your dad. Visualize or your mom and your dad in front of you and tell them, I do it for you because I love you so much. Whatever I have rejected in you, since I love you, and at the same time I reject you, I judge you, I take all those feelings from you. So even in my dysfunctionalities, I'm trying to love you. And see all the words you have written in your mind's eye. See all the words which you have written for yourself, all the negative traits, the judgments you have for yourself, and tell them that I judge you on all these grounds. And because I judge you and I love you at the same time, I made them mine. And today I realize that I can love you without judging you. I can love you by accepting you for who you are in all your humanness. I can just see you as a human first, who had their own share of struggles, who were shaped by their own share of struggles, who did whatever they can in their circumstances to the best of their ability. So I drop all those judgments for you today and breathe out those judgments which you had for each of your parent. Breathe it out. See it breathe with every breath. See it moving out of your body. Keep your mouth slightly open and breathe out all those judgments which you had for your parents. Breathe out all the harsh feelings, all the resentments, all the rejections, all the hurt, all the painful memories which you have for them. Whatever needs to be released today will get released now. And breathe it out completely. And as you breathe out all of it completely, I want you to imagine your parents as children, how they were, what kind of life they had, what kind of hardships they have gone through, and just see them as a child evolving and growing under those hardships, under those struggles. See their stories which had shaped them for who they are. And now, when you see those stories, you will see that it is not because they hate you or they have certain thoughts about you. It is rather because it is how they are. It is how life has treated them. And see those stories shaping them. You might get flashes or memories or certain incidents in your mind, which your grandparents or your parents might have told you about how their life was, and see them for who they are. And now see, as you see them, what kind of life they had. Now see the kind of life they have given to you, despite facing everything. And now when you see them, what they have gone through and what they have given to you, see what kind of feeling emerges in your body. and tell them with all those feelings in your mind, in your body, feeling it intently, tell them, Mom and Dad, I see you for the first time. I see you for who you are. And whatever you have given me, irrespective of the form of it, I take all that love in. No matter how big or small it is, I will keep taking it. And see that love coming from your parents to you in a form of light. Give that light a color and see it moving to your body, towards that body part which had that core belief. And as that light enters your body, that body part, see how does it feel now. And if one sentence comes from this love, what would you like to believe in today about yourself? Let that sentence emerge. Trust your first thought, whatever it is. And see that sentence emerging. What would you like to believe about yourself today? And as that sentence emerges, and as that light enters that body part, see it spreading in your entire body. See it spreading upwards, sideways, downwards, backwards, every part of your body. See that light coming from your parents to you and see it covering each and every cell of your body and this new belief which you would like to believe about yourself from today. Once you have taken that in, once you have taken that belief in, embodied that belief, embodied it in every cell of your body, bow down to your parents, physically join your hands and bow down to them. Because if it wouldn't be them, you wouldn't get this life. You will not be experiencing all the joys which you had experienced till now, and all the joys which you don't know you will be experiencing in your life ahead. Bow down to them and gently and very slowly rub your hands. Place your palms on your eyes and come back to the here and now.
I have a question. Can I ask?
Yeah, before that, I would like to have some sharings. If any of you would like to share your experience, the belief which was earlier and the belief which you had now, anything. And then I'll open the floor for the questions.
So can I go first?
Yeah, please go.
So like I told you, my earlier belief was I'm not good enough,
Mm-hmm.
which came from inside is I'm kind. I'm a kind soul.
Okay.
And what I think that all the traits I have right now, they are acquired traits. If I remove them all, so I am so beautiful inside that my energy itself is very good for self and others also who are around. So I felt that.
Okay. And did you got a new belief for yourself? Did you
Yeah.
feel that light entering you? Anything of that kind?
So that's what I'm saying. I told you, no, I'm kind. That's my new belief.
And Supra, I would like you to practice this new belief. Because when you're kind, you will see your parents as kind too.
Actually, I could see that. I could see the how beautifully they brought us up. But when I'm constantly thinking negative or something, then that point of time I'm just ignoring those qualities and what they've done for us.
And that happens because supra human mind is designed. Look, we have evolved from reptilian and mammalian brain, right? Even our brain, till now, the brain is majorly divided into three parts, right? So the lowest part is known as the reptilian brain, the middle part is the mammalian brain, and this is the frontal cortex, which is not present in other animals except whale, or whale has it, I guess, except whale. Other animals don't have it, if I remember it correctly. So reptilian brain or mammalian brain. So these are the animal brains, right? Where the primary thing is survival,
Survival, right?
right? So if you will see, for example, if a deer sees a tiger,
Mm-hmm.
right? He know his life is in danger. What will happen? He will sense that danger. His heart will start pumping more blood,
Right,
right? When his heart will start pumping more blood, it will go down to its legs. More glucose formation will be there, and which will propel him, which will give him energy to run. This happens even not even in fraction of seconds. Okay? Because the brain's job is to keep us safe. So
right.
when and therefore, and this frontal cortex, which I'm talking about, it forms after our birth. This part of the brain is formed before,
Oh,
in the fetus itself. This part of the brain starts developing from the age of 5 or 6, and it develops till 22, 25 years of age.
yeah.
Okay? This part is responsible for rationaling, logical mind, memory, everything, you know, which is a human speciality. Okay? So when you say that, when I think negative, I go down to the spiral, then you are not functioning from here, rather you're functioning from your animal brain, which whose job is to keep you safe. Because
Right,
if I'll not think about all the negative things, then I'll not be preparing myself for the worst outcome.
right.
In order to safeguard myself by predicting the worst outcome, I am in these narratives.
I have lived most of my life in survival brain only, and I'm still doing that.
You won't believe, Supra, 99.99% of humans live in
Mm-hmm.
survival brain. Only 1% of them acknowledge it and are aware of it.
Right.
I can't talk about people who are enlightened beings like Sadhguru and all. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
talk about them. I'm very small, even to comment on that. But rest 99.99% of the population lives in survival. And only 1% of them is aware of it, that they are living in survival phase. Just like you had this awakening now, that whatever I've judged in my parents, I have absorbed in me.
Right.
This awakening, this awareness is not even in 1% of that population, not even in 1%.
And how do we return like what we've acquired from them?
It requires deep work, Supra.
Oh,
Okay? Because, like today, I did on a very superficial level. But when we do go deeper, we go to the episodes. Like I told you, this part of the brain starts developing after 5 or 6 years of age. So, if this part is responsible for all the rational logic and memory and reasoning,
mm-hmm.
before this part is not there, I cannot logicalize anything, I cannot rationalize anything, right?
Right,
Because the organ is not there, simply,
right.
right? So, whatever I absorb, I make it mine. So, in a child's brain, what happens is the child consider their parents as the center of the world, and therefore they also believe that they are the center of their parents' world. So if their parents are happy, it is because of them. If their parents are sad, it is because of them. So if my mom is angry, in my child's brain, I will assume that it is because of me she is angry. I have done something. So when these episodes are infrequent, and then the connection of the parent is restored. So suppose if I get angry on my kid and I yell at him, I tell him that, you are behaving in this way. That is why I'm behaving like you. I'm angry at you. or you deserve this kind of treatment, if this happens on infrequent basis, then it is still safe. But if it happens on frequent basis and the connection with the parent and the child is not restored, for example, when the parent comes back to his senses, becomes an adult, and goes to the child and apologizes for their behavior and tells them that, I was tired or I was hungry and that is why I shouted at you. If that connection is not restored often, the safe connection with the parent is lost. For the child, the parent is the world. So when I cannot feel safe with my parent, if I feel I'm not good enough for my parent, I will feel that I'm not good enough for the world, for all my relationships. Okay, so when we do the deeper work, we actually go to the memories or the events, which may not be cognitive, which may not be even remembered by you, but your subconscious, your body remembers it. And we go back to the event and we reverse it from there because of the beauty and the boon God has given to us, which is today scientists call it as neuroplasticity, which means your neurons could be rewired. If trauma can shape you, healing can reshape your beliefs.
This is so
Okay?
beautiful.
This is a blessing for us, I mean, for humankind. Or neuroplasticity is not a technical way, it is not through operations or surgeries, rather, it is just going inwards, finding out the neurons which send this message to your brain that you are not good enough and rewiring in us. Okay, so to answer your question, you can change it. It's not that it will completely 100% change. Complete 100% healing is a myth. Your parents will still trigger you. But with awareness, with healing, you will behave like an adult, like unlike a child in adult bodies. So I will tell you, my parents are here and shopping, wedding shopping is going on for my sister. And when you keep on spending, my parents come from that scarcity background. And even though now they are very good, very financially, very well to do. Okay, from 1 BHK, living in a 1 BHK, 300 square feet apartment to now they have a 5,000 square feet big house. So, and everything with God's grace, everything is very good. But since they come from that scarcity mindset, the moment, 2 lakh, 3 lakh ka bill bana, kapdo ka, my father again started fuming. He started getting angry in the shop itself. Fortunately, I had done my inner work and I had get my younger sister who is getting married. I had also asked her to do the inner work. So she has also done considerable amount of inner work. So we were able to behave like an adult in adult bodies rather than becoming a child and saying, typical कैसा हो जाता है? I don't know if Santosh understands Hindi. Santosh, are you comfortable in Hindi?
No, ma'am, I don't understand.
Okay.
It's okay.
So so वो essence will miss if I don't talk in Hindi, but I'll tell you.
Sure.
So, wherever the bill would be like 3 lakhs, and he was like, what is it? You won't be wearing these clothes thrice or 4 times, and how can you spend so much? And yeah, wo, and blah, 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 blah. And at one point, if I would, I remember the wedding shopping which was done for me, and my father behaved in a similar way, and I went into ekdam, my shell, and I felt like, no, I will not choose anything good. I will choose the one which is the lowest price tag. Because I was into this suppression always. I always felt like I will be a martyr if I sacrifice. And thanks to the inner work, my sister at one point of time, she said, Papa, why I can't get? I'm getting married. I will need these clothes. What will I do even if, I'll satisfy you and buy something which I'll not wear? It will be of no use. So you're going to spend money, so better spend it on things which I like. Without making his anger about me. Because I know that his anger comes from his scarcity mindset, which has nothing to do with me or nothing to do with the present circumstance. Okay, So this happens, Supra. It's not that they're not going to trigger you anymore. Your parents and then your kids will trigger you and show you the darkest parts of yourself. But if you're aware enough, you can transform yourself beyond your wildest imagination. My parents, then my husband, and then my children were my biggest catalyst for growth because they asked me, they showed me, they projected every single time how to look inward. So whenever, now I have a space where my kids tell me bluntly, you're not a good mom. Do you even realize that how bad you are as a mom? While earlier me would be freaked out and would take it personally, today I feel so happy that my kids feel safe enough to shout at me and went out. And within 5 minutes, they're hugging me. So when your kids tell you that you are a very bad mom, take pride in yourself because then you are doing it right because they feel safe telling you that. They know that their mom will not get angry. She will not make it personal about her parenting. So in your case, Supra, since I know you at personal level as well, your children and your relationships will become your biggest catalyst for growth. How it will turn out in future, no one knows. But it will help you to look inwards to those parts of you which you are not willing to see. And
Okay.
when you will see it in yourself, your children don't have to carry it. Just like you are carrying all the negative traits from your parents, your children will not carry it for you. And that is the best legacy you can give it to your children. A life free of negative beliefs. I mean, how many parents do that? If you ask my younger child, he will say, I'm going to be super rich. Because I worked so much on my scarcity mindset. He says, Mama, don't worry. I will have a bank of my own. He says that way. He is so comfortable telling he says, and I say, how will you earn money? He says, I can do anything. I can do even chori. He's that cool. I mean, for him, it is like he is the top of the world. That's his belief now. And with
Right.
this belief, he will reach the top of the
Right.
world, right? So I guess I have answered your question. I think so.
So my question was not this. My question is, why are we most triggered post our kid's birth, like after the childbirth?
Because we see our inner children in them.
Oh,
And you would see that you are very different as a mother. Since I know that you have two kids, you are very different as a mother for your elder one and for your younger one. For your
yes.
elder child, in your elder child, you see yourself and you become the same parent which you had for yourself.
Yeah,
So if you see your
that's
parent as angry, you will also become angry at your elder one. But for the second child, if a couple has a second child, the second child is that inner child of yours, which you were never able to be. Your younger one would be free spirited. She would not even take care of the world and she would not give a
yeah,
damn.
it is
She
like
will,
that.
she will be demanding.
Yes.
That was the version of you which you couldn't live. So your children are essentially living both parts of you. The one which you had suppressed, the one which you were not able to live. I mean, both of the parts are suppressed. One is repressed and the other is suppressed. Suppressed is unknowing, repressed is knowing. Sorry, repressed is unknowing and suppressed is knowing. So you
Right.
repressed yourself unknowingly in so many ways. You dimmed your light. And that is how your elder one is showing. He is also
Yeah.
dimming his light.
Yeah. Can I share something now? Like my
Yeah,
example
please.
to support what you just mentioned, it resonates so well. So my elder one, he was always scared since the childhood, like since he was born, he was very scared. He would always stay in his own cocoon and he would not open up. He started speaking also late to an extent that he was given a diagnosis. He was that scared. And like you mentioned, I used to treat him very bad also. Like I started hitting him quite early and I used to literally shake him. So probably I have passed on that trauma also to him. But for the younger one, She is so free spirited from since the very beginning. Like, you'll not believe. She already speaks. She's only 1.5 year old. She walks. She can do anything and everything on her own, and she's not scared. The elder one is scared of darkness. Also, she's not scared of anything. She's not even scared of darkness. She can go around anywhere. She likes to enjoy her life. She dances. She would do anything to, make herself happy.
That is the version of you which you couldn't live.
Yeah, right.
So, Supra, since you mentioned, and being a mother, I can understand that children trigger a lot, especially when you're exhausted. It's not
Right.
children trigger you, it's your exhaustion which triggers you.
Okay.
Okay. So, even if you hit the child, I know it will take some time to change this behavior completely. Whenever you come back to being yourself and you
Mhm.
realize that you did wrong, go to your child and tell him, I'm sorry, I projected my anger on you. It wasn't about you, it was because of me. When you keep doing that, the child will understand.
Right.
Not that I'm saying that this behavior is right, because the side effect of this behavior would be that the child will understand if I'm angry, I can do anything. So you ultimately you have to change your behavior, but that will take some time. But till that time, you can control the damage which you are doing to the elder one by telling him that I was angry because I was tired. I was exhausted. Now what I do, I never wait for my children. The time the food is cooked, I come and eat it without waiting for my children. Now my children have understood, they will ask me, Mama, why don't you wait for us? And I say that because I'm hungry and I cannot control my hunger. If I remain hungry, I will get angry. So
Hmm.
now, whenever we go to restaurant, whenever my meal time is skipped, my children tell me, Mama, please eat something. Otherwise, you'll get angry. So
How
they
sweet.
know that my trigger is not them, it is my hunger.
Hmm.
So know that when you are, so when my periods are approaching, I tell everyone that I'm on my PMS. I tell my children that my body rest period is coming and I will get angry, so do not trigger. Do not do anything. I may get angry, and when I get angry, I tell them. And they're like, Mama, we know you are on your body rest. So I'm not coming near you.
I have a question to you after this, like for my
Yeah.
elder one. Actually. Now his inner voice is very negative, like mine, and he tells कि हाँ मैं तो अच्छा हूँ ही नहीं, मैं तो गंदा हूँ, मैं तो ऐसे ही कर.
Neuroplasticity, Supra, neuroplasticity. If you can rewire your brain, you can definitely rewire your elder one. And the good thing is, he is very small. So it will
Yes.
take lesser time. Understand it took you 30, 40 years of trauma, and now you will start healing. It will not take even 3 years of time, not even 10% of that time. Okay, if you do deep inner work, your brain will change in less than 6 months. He is not even 6 or 7 years of age, right?
7 now.
So even if you talk negative and then you keep on reinforcing the positive as well,
Mm-hmm.
the damage will be.
Right.
Okay, and like our brain notices negative things, when you'll start training your brain to see the positive things in your child, and you will tell him that this is what I appreciate about you, and you will tell him the story, Supra, how you were as a child, he would relate to you at a very different way. Be a human first, then a mother later, so that your child knows that it is your humanness, it is not what he is, because when you define yourself as a mother, it becomes about your child.
Now, one last question. Since it has been passed on from my father, lying behavior and all, I can see the similar behavior in my son. And I used to do it at one point of time. You know why? Because I wanted to feel important. So I acquired that trait and I did it at one point of time. Now my question is, I'm not doing it now, but why the things are not improving?
Because your 3D is your current reality is a reflection of your past thinking.
Okay. Because my son is also doing that. My husband is,
You are
he,
attracting everything which you are suppressing, Supra, which you are repressing. and which you have rejected in your parents. Because you rejected that lying behavior in your father,
Mm-hmm.
and since you cannot reject your father, understand technically you have come from him. So when you are rejecting him or your mother for that matter, you are rejecting your own DNA. So a
Right.
part of your body is going against. So there is an internal battle in your body itself.
Okay, I
No
got.
matter which part of it wins, you are going to lose. And
Right.
since you love, and the underlying behavior beyond any dysfunctional behavior, with beneath any dysfunctional behavior, is pure love. Since I
Actually,
cannot accept you, Dad, I rejected you so much for your lying tendency. I'm going to attract a similar partner who will lie to me. I will attract the same in my child as well. The good thing is, again, neuroplasticity. When I
this
stop
also.
rejecting you, yes,
I'll tell you something. So, this lying part, no, I never knew it about my father also and about my husband also. Last year only I got to know about it. First, I came to know about my husband, and then when I came back home, like I'm staying put with my parents, then I started observing my father. Then the acceptance came, and now, like you mentioned, I'm rejecting that behavior of his. Why is he lying? Why is he doing that? So that way,
he's also serving love to the people who came before him,
right,
just like you are doing to the people who came. Understand the only thing which is true beyond any morality, beyond any rightness and wrongness, is your unconscious loyalty towards your family of origin.
right,
And until and unless you see that story in your body, you will not be able to be free from it.
right.
Okay? Okay. Santosh, Chiranjeev, would you like to share or do you have any questions?
Not really want to share. I have a question essentially. So when you were saying that that this mindset that when there is a problem in my life, then I feel good because there is a sense of lack. Pity is the feeling that you are most that you were sort of really attracted to or you sort of resonated with. But at the same time, there was this striving for perfection. There was this striving uh, to really be at the top so that others can then accept you. So then there was, I think, a tendency to move away from pity to acceptance. How do you sort of, I couldn't reconcile the two.
So, the answer lies in the drama triangle. Okay, just like a triangle has three sides, our inner being has three sides. The first part is a victim part. The second point is a perpetrator. And the third part is a rescuer. And we are forever operating in these three dimensions until unless we see each three of them, and then we are aware. Then only we are able to move past the drama triangle. So when I say that, in that pity state, in that victim state, so we are in that victim state. The classic characteristic of the victim is that if, I see myself as small and I see everyone as big who are capable of being a perpetrator, who can, so for example, when I say that, everything happens for everything, everything goes bad for me. I see myself as a victim and I see my circumstances as my perpetrator. Or whenever I see that, my husband always treats me badly, I see myself as victim, my husband as a perpetrator. My children always behaves in a wrong manner. They never understand me. I see myself as a victim, I see myself. Since I become a victim in my inner landscape, in outer landscape to balance, I will become a perpetrator. So even though my inner language is that my children behave badly, in outer world, I will be shouting at them, screaming at them. In their world, I will become the puppet. Okay. And then I will have a rescuer as well. I may go into addictions, addiction of any kind, whether it's chocolate or cocaine, whether it's alcohol or bhajan. Okay. It could be anything which will help me to move out from this space for some time. So when you say that, so this is how our personality is formed, how our sub-personality is formed. A part of me feels, very small. To cover that part, I have to become big. And that is why I become an overachiever. So that I can cover this small part of mine. Because if I'll not become big, someone else can control this part.
Hmm.
Right? So I become an overachiever. I may be excelling in studies or in my work, or I will be a perfectionist. These are all coping mechanisms, and they serve us for some time. Like my overambitiousness served me, and therefore I excelled in academics. I got good offers in institutes. So these coping mechanisms serves us for some time. It's not that I'm treating them in rightness or wrongness. But after a point of time, you do give up. You just don't feel like doing it anymore. The same job where you were trying to prove yourself and showing yourself that how good I am or how well should I be respected, you start hating and despising that same job internally, and you don't even know when you have crossed that line. And then one day, when everything is beyond your capacity to take, you just leave it and you go to that riskier part. The idea is not to stay in any single path. The idea is to stay up. You are beyond a victim, you are beyond a perpetrator, you are beyond a risk. And we live these three narratives every single moment, even though we have been. The only difference is we don't stay in it. Like the moment I realized that, I'm going into my victim mindset, everything is going wrong, my laptop has crashed, the moment I was able to see it, I was out of it. And I decided I'll use my mobile. I'll tell the people that I cannot do it effectively because I'm using my mobile. And then the moment you are out of it, you get ways. I remember that I had a wireless mouse. I can use it for that point.
Right.
Right? So that is what happens. So when you say that you are feeling small, that is how you could seek love from other people. Right? Otherwise, being an adult, who would like to play small?
Who would like to?
Who would like to play small? No one, right? Who would like to be in pity?
Right.
No one. This belongs to that child who was given love only when he was in a difficult state. Maybe when he was hurt, when he was unwell, or maybe when things go wrong. That is how he saw that, when things go wrong, people are extra polite to you, and that is how you get love. And that personality, that inner child stays with us.
Right. So in that case, I'm sorry. So I have a question
Yeah.
for. So then there are two. So right now the example that you're taking, so of a child that who realizes that I'm being cared for, I'm being loved when I'm, let's say, miserable, I'm having a disease and all that. So then there is a sort of, then the person resonates with pity, that when I'm in this pitiful situation, then I actually get attention. Actually, I'm being noticed. So then in that case, so this was also the question related to that, that if you really like pity, then the striving that you were doing was really to get out of a state of pity. So there are two kinds of responses possible, that you attract more misery in a way that you are like, I can't achieve much, so what's the point of studying, right? I'm not good enough. Or you could sort of compensate it and really do extra hard work to try to prove yourself. So what really makes people take these two different choices?
Both are for love. For a child, understand the only thing which a human needs or which a human does is for love, right? The basic requirement is love. And that love which he is seeking from the world outside is basically his internal quest to be acknowledged by his own parents. What are you proving when you are struggling, when you're becoming over ambitious, or when you're achieving good things? You're essentially showing yourself as how good you are to the world because you want to be accepted by the world, because in your end, or you want to be respected, right? And in your inner landscape, maybe respect is equal to love, acceptance is equal to love, acknowledgement is equal to love. I'm not saying that it is right or wrong. The thing is, you should do it because it gives you joy and not to prove yourself. When proving comes, it is essentially that victimhood, because I am small, that is why I have to prove that I am good enough,
Right.
right? So that victim mindset will manifest in different forms. It will manifest in things like a poor relationship,
Right.
so that I can get love
Yep.
elsewhere. Or it will manifest itself into an overachiever to show that, look, I have so much. Now, can you see me? Can you love me now? The essential act of proving itself comes from that victim mindset.
Right. And that was my question. What makes people? So you are saying it can manifest in different ways. One is
Yeah.
overachiever and one is just miserable. So what makes this difference? So do we have an answer to that? Why people take these two different paths?
I don't have an answer to that, because essentially develops into, it essentially goes back to the circumstances from on which the child was raised. For example, if a child was raised in a situation when they could only get love by being pitiful, okay, they might be taking that path, or they
Okay.
might be attracting opportunities or situationships where they can feel pity about themselves.
Okay.
And when they see,
Can I also answer this?
just a second, Supra, let me complete. When they
Yeah.
see that their parents are appreciating people who are achieving something, they
Okay.
automatically, the child brain believes that if I achieve something, I will be loved.
Okay.
Because if my parents are appreciating some other child,
Right.
right, because they have achieved good marks, I will also be striving for achievement.
Right.
Essentially, whether you go for pity. So when we do the deeper work, we do not work on sub-personalities, because sub-personalities are manifestation of these mindsets.
Okay.
There's subconscious states, which is victim, perpetrator, or rescue.
I see.
So, and the personalities, sub-personalities could be of different kinds. You could be an achiever and you could be an addictor into addiction as well.
Right.
You could be workaholic as well as you could be very angry as well,
Right.
right? So the sub-personalities can have different permutation and combinations. So when we do the inner work, we do not work on sub-personalities, rather we work on the root of it. Because
Right.
the sub-personality of an addiction,
Mm.
so in cases of addiction, whether it is of work or cocaine, for that matter, the addiction is, what is addiction? You are consuming something more than what is required by your body.
Right.
Why you will consume more?
Right.
Because you feel it is less in your body, right? You are filling that void by consuming more and more of a particular substance.
Yeah.
And that void, it always trickles down to that child part of you who felt that void. For example, if a mother would, whenever the child cries, if a mother will just feed that child and give him some food, the child will definitely have a very dysfunctional relationship with food. When they grow up, they can either become aversive to food, or they can indulge into overeating. Because for the child, food is equal to love, food is equal to attention. So the coping mechanisms may show up in different forms, but the primal root always lies in it. So when we do the inner work, we do not work on subpersonalities because that is who you are. If I wouldn't be over ambitious, I wouldn't have achieved so much. So these things do serve me. So the inner work does not mean that I will change you. I will change the reason behind you do that. I will be over ambitious, but I'll not do it to prove something. I will be working till the time it is giving me joy. So instead of working 7 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, I might be working 3 hours, 4 hours a day. And my productivity will be more at that point of time because I will be doing with all my joy. I will not be seeking any validation here. Because, no matter how much validation, respect, and approval we get from the outer world, it is never enough. And therefore, we keep on achieving, achieving, and achieving. We keep on setting higher goals for ourselves. Because if that would be the case, if we are seeking it from outside, then at one point of time, it should have has given us satisfaction, right? It doesn't, because that void is internal. And that internal void is often, in 90% of the cases, it comes of your childhood experiences from your parents. How the child perceived the parent. And then we have to find out its roots. So when I do the work, when you work with me in one-on-one, I not only go to childhood experience, but I also go to the ancestral part of it or the past life part of it. The hook is always in the inner child because and especially the womb memories and the primal years, that is till 10 years of age. All those experiences that shape the belief, क्योंकि उस समय ये नहीं develop होता ना, frontal cortex is not developed. So you do not have reasoning, you just feel it in your body. You just feel it so strongly. That like for Supra, I'm not good enough is so strong. She blames herself for not being an attentive mother. However, we are seeing her that she is attending the webinar with the child in her hand. This is her superpower, which she's not willing to see because she is so consumed by this inherent belief that I'm not good enough. So the internal void, the root needs to be seen. And that is why somatic therapy, somatic-based practices like inner child work can be done on counseling as well for that, but it is not effective. Somatic practices are must because then it is moving out. By the way, did you feel something in your body moving out or moving in? Did you feel something? Because then because the disconnect with body is so much. When you start connecting with your body, you feel at a very different level. Then it is not about anyone else. It is about you and only. Then the surrender to the highest self is at a very different level. That you perceive things at a very different level. So when the child is misbehaving, or for that matter, your partner is misbehaving, you don't see that they are misbehaving. You see that part of you who was neglected. And you automatically go back to that part, you resolve the issue there, and then you see your partner from a very different light. So when we do the inner work, it is not that the whole world changes. Our perception to the whole world changes. And when our perception changes, our world changes. We are going to live with the same parent, with the same partner, with the same children. But our perception changes. We don't see them as people who do not understand us. Rather, we see
So I have
ourselves.
a doubt here, just what you mentioned. So I understand that we are changing our inner world. We are not changing outside. So do you mean that people will keep on doing what they are doing, and we will not be triggered by their
They will
behavior?
not be triggered and they will stop doing that as well. Not because they have
Okay.
done the work, but because we have stopped attracting such people. So, Supra, the
Oh, I got it.
basic, basic thing is energy. Everything in this
Mhm.
universe is energy. Okay. Wherever our attention goes, the energy flows.
Right.
So when we are not giving that particular behavior attention, it
Mhm.
is not going to grow.
Grow, correct. And could
Understand?
you please also explain that you've explained the part where a person is overachiever. What about the person who does not want to achieve, who just stops and freezes? Can you explain little about that also?
So I'll tell you a case. Recently, I had a client who was into procrastination. She knew she can do it. She had the skills, but she was not willing to. And on the surface level, you can see it as procrastination. She herself said that I procrastinate a lot. That was the first statement she came up with. But when you go deeper, just like I asked you to find out one core belief. So when I do one-on-one work, I go very deep.
Mhm.
And I asked her, what is the benefit of not doing, of procrastinating? And you won't believe what was her answer. She said, if I will do something and I will fail, people will criticize my mother. And if I will not do anything, I will just blame myself. So, in order to save her mother, the criticism from her father, she chose not to do it. So, beyond any dysfunctionalities, there is always love. And that is why I cannot judge on morality, on rightness and wrong. Because I know the primal need is love. Either it is love for the parent,
Actually, this is my story also.
look, and then how can you judge
And why I
yourself?
asked you, why I asked you because I've been buying courses, and heart in heart I know I can do them, I can do everything, but why am I not doing it? So I know if I'll do it, I have this fear that if what if I fail? And by the way, I actually plugged in class 12. It might have any roots to that also. So
Yes,
we'll
I
do that in one-on-one session.
sure, Vivek.
Now
Yes.
but my question is clear that where it is coming. I also have the fear of failure. That's
And
why
it
I'm not
could
doing
be
things.
something else as well, Sue. It could be
Right.
something
So
else.
it will come up. Right.
The only reason why I gave you this example was that the dysfunctionality will be treated as rightness or wrongness by everyone else. But when you see
Hmm.
it from systemic lens, every member of the family is contributing to the unconscious loyalty, to the belongingness of the family by either going into the perpetrator state or the victim state or the rescue state. That is how the love is served because under systemic lens, there is no right or wrong. So if my forefathers have been victimized, someone
Mhm.
in the lineage will become a perpetrator to balance something. And that is how karma is balanced.
Right.
It goes beyond your human logic, it goes beyond what is seen and visible to the naked eye. And therefore, without exploring the roots, you cannot heal.
Makes sense.
For
And why do I
example, I
understand
have this.
everything that is being told by, and while others maybe they can't see and they get confused.
The thing
Probably
is,
I've
that
done
is
the
why
work.
I do not, this work, this deep inner work is not very well known in India.
Right.
There are only 10 to 12 practitioners in entire country who
Mhm.
does this kind of work, which I do.
Right.
People can become inner child healer by buying a 999 course on, internet. That
Right.
is not how it is done. So I have been trained by multiple people, but more than that, the training and the skills, it is because of my own inner work that I'm able to have and develop this lens.
Correct.
And I can only take my client, and this is for every practitioner. I can only take my client till the time I have reached that depth in myself. If I
Right.
have not reached that depth, that inner truth in me, I cannot show that truth to. And that is why I never give solutions to my client. You have worked one on one with me as well. And
Right.
I never give them the solutions because the solution which I see will not work for you. It will only work when it is resonates with the family system from your where you're
Right.
because answers to सबके पास है ना everyone knows the solution How to stop procrastination. Search on Google and you will get 10,000 different ideas. The solutions
Correct.
सबके पास होते हैं, but it may not resonate with you. That because what is exactly procrastination? Understand, Supra. If you understand things from why perspective, it will become very clear to you. The thing is, procrastination is your mind knows that you have to do something, but your body refuses to cooperate. You just don't feel like doing it. Feeling is somatic, nervous system, your body. So if your mind knows that it has to do something and your body is refusing to cooperate, then there must be something which is building this gap, right? I have to just understand and explore why this gap is there. When I will understand the gap, either my mind will lower its standard that, this was not because of, I wanted it. I was doing this task because I was supposed to do it. Either my mind will lower that or my body will feel comfortable enough to do it.
No, but what I've seen is that I'm not even enjoying the work, which, I always kept telling I want to do it.
Was that your voice? That will be my question. Or was told to you that this will be what you want? I want you to contemplate on it.
We will figure it out in the one-on-one session.
Yes, sir. Have I answered your questions?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Anything else where I can help you?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay, Santosh, what about you? Would you like to share or do you have any questions?
Yeah, it was a pleasant experience after the exercise. I feel good, got the heart region. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you, guys. I exceeded the time and you stayed here. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you, Sneha. This was a very helpful session. Really grateful for your time.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you so
much.
much, Neha. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would like to share your feedbacks or your experiences, you can do that. Okay. And if you have any queries, then you can reach out to me. You all have my number.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I will be uploading the recording on YouTube and I will be sharing the link with you all. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Take
Thank you.
care.
Bye. You too. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.